and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. China confirms trade talks with the United States in Stockholm next week, says it aims to strengthen economic cooperation with Washington amid ongoing tensions sparked by US tariffs under President Donald Trump. India extends its ban on Pakistani aircraft entering its airspace until the 23rd of August. The move follows strategic and security protocols in place since Operation Sindoor. Japan's Prime Minister Shogo Ishiba denies reports of an imminent resignation, days after his ruling coalition faced a historic loss in the upper house elections. Malaysia announces a one-off $24 handout for each of its 22 million adult citizens as Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim moves to ease the cost of living crisis in the Southeast Asian country. And PayPal announces the launch of a global digital wallet that lets users on local online payment platforms like China's Tenpay and India's UPI to pay businesses worldwide. Hello and welcome. Today we start with a shocking incident that unfolded in Australia. An Indian man was brutally assaulted by a group of unidentified men in South Australia's Adelaide. The visuals are indeed disturbing. You can see the man lying on a pavement. A woman can be heard screaming, "Please stop." But the attackers continued. They kept assaulting the Indian man, and moments later, they walk away. The victim lying there unconscious and bruised on the street. It happened on a Saturday night near Kintore Avenue. Charanpreet Singh, a 23-year-old Indian student, was with his wife when a group of 5 men ambushed them. According to reports, the couple had just parked their car to view the city's light displays around 9:22 p.m. when the attackers emerged from another vehicle. The men started with racial slurs and then began attacking Singh. Singh says he tried to defend himself, but the group overpowered him. The attackers were reportedly armed with metal knuckles and sharp objects. Singh sustained several injuries, including brain trauma and multiple facial fractures, and was rushed to hospital for overnight treatment. According to media reports, Singh said that the altercation with the men began at a car park dispute, which escalated into a racially charged assault. "You can change anything in your body, but you can't change the color," he said, adding that when things like this happen, all one wants to do is go back to their home country. The South Australia police reached Kintore Avenue shortly before 9:30 p.m. and found Singh with facial injuries. They said that one attacker was arrested, a 20-year-old from Enfield, and he has been charged with assault causing harm. But the others involved, now they remain at large. Police are reviewing CCTV footage. They have appealed to witnesses to step forward for assistance. South Australian Premier Peter Malinoxis has condemned the incident, calling it, quote-unquote, completely unwelcome in our state. Now, he added that such incidents do not reflect the values of the majority in the country. The assault has sparked concern among the Indian community in Australia. Many are demanding tougher action against racially motivated violence. Support for Singh has poured in online. Another similar attack recently unfolded in Ireland. An Indian man in his 40s was attacked by a group of teenagers in Dublin. He was assaulted, robbed, and partially stripped. India's ambassador to Ireland has strongly condemned the incident on X. Racial attacks against Indians are becoming more frequent across countries and communities, and it points to a deeper problem: growing intolerance, a rising threat, and a system still slow to respond. And moving on, at the world's highest diplomatic table in the UN Security Council, India did not hold back against Pakistan. New Delhi ripped through Islamabad's hypocrisy, calling out Pakistan for what it is: a terror-sponsoring, IMF-dependent state, stuck in a loop of fanaticism, terrorism, and persistent denial to justify both. New Delhi's top diplomat at the UN, Ambassador Parvatini Harish, did not mince his words. He laid out the contrast: India, the world's most populous democracy, a rising economic power, and a pluralistic society, versus Pakistan, a nation steeped in terrorism, ruled by religious extremism, and perpetually running out on borrowed money. Now, the Indian ambassador said that while New Delhi builds highways to the future, Islamabad keeps paving escape routes from accountability.
Constrained also to respond to the remarks made by the representative of Pakistan. The Indian subcontinent offers a stark contrast in terms of progress, prosperity, and development models. On the one hand, there is India, which is a mature democracy, a surging economy, and a pluralistic and inclusive society. At the other extreme is Pakistan, steeped in fanaticism and terrorism, and a serial borrower from the IMF. As we debate promoting international peace and security, it is essential to recognize that there are some fundamental principles which need to be universally respected. One of them is zero tolerance for terrorism.
As the Indian ambassador pointed out, Islamabad's economy is a house of cards built on loans, collapsing under the weight of its own military and repeatedly propped up by the global institutions like the IMF. And it's not just the economy. Critically, it's also the terror machine Pakistan nurtures across the border into India. The Indian ambassador reminded the world of the April 22nd terror attack in Pahalgam, in which 26 civilians were killed by Pakistan-sponsored terrorists. In response, India didn't sit back. It launched Operation Sindoor, a focused, measured, and non-escalatory military campaign to target terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. As India struck Pakistan's terror infrastructure, Islamabad cried victim until it asked for a ceasefire. Now, the Indian ambassador also reminded the world that India is the largest contributor to UN peacekeeping operations. It's the pioneer in putting women in blue helmets. New Delhi's message was clear. While Pakistan exports terrorism, India exports stability. Now, Pakistan's diplomatic thrashing at the UN high table has made it clear that for India, defending peace doesn't require international approval, just national clarity. This was just yet another moment of Pakistan playing victim. But this time, India didn't just call it out. It cleaned the floor with facts. And moving on to the rising tensions in the East China Sea, China is flexing its military muscle near a key US ally in the Pacific, Japan. Japan said a Chinese intelligence gathering ship was spotted sailing between two southwestern Japanese islands. This is the same ship which was found operating in the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines on the 12th of July. Tokyo's Maritime Self-Defense Force responded by deploying its destroyer, the Amagiri, to monitor the Chinese vessel's movement. Japan said that on the 22nd of July, the Chinese intelligence gathering vessel cut through the waters just 80 miles off Miyako Island, passing straight through the Miyako Strait and continued toward Chinese waters. But it did not end there. Just a day earlier, a Chinese Y-9 military aircraft flew through the same strait, with goals to gather intelligence and what Tokyo sees as a threat to the freedom of navigation. Around the same time, unmanned Chinese drones were detected flying near Taiwan's east coast, which again prompted concerns in Tokyo's corridors of power. In all cases, Japanese fighter jets were scrambled. Tokyo's alarm bells are ringing for a reason. According to Japan's newly released defense white paper, the number of Chinese warships navigating through Okinawa Prefecture's waters has tripled in just 3 years. The report also warns of China's growing military activity beyond the first island chain, an arc of islands stretching from Japan down through the Philippines, seen by Washington as a key line of deterrence against Beijing. While the Chinese intelligence gathering ship operated in international waters, its proximity to Okinawa, which hosts a large concentration of U.S. military bases, adds to an already tense geopolitical equation. At the heart of it is Beijing's rising assertiveness, Tokyo's expanding defense posture, and persistent friction over Taiwan and Senkaku Islands. Now, China has dismissed the concerns raised in the Japanese defense white paper, calling them exaggerated and insisting its military policy remains defensive. But Japan isn't taking chances. Tokyo is pushing ahead with its plan to double defense spending by 2027 and to deepen coordination with the US and like-minded partners across the Indo-Pacific through partnerships like the Quadrilateral Security Alliance, which includes India, the US, Australia, and Japan. With Chinese ships, drones, and warplanes being spotted so frequently close to Japan's doorstep, Tokyo now faces a hard reality. Deterrence is no longer just a policy, it's a daily practice. And a new trade deal has been struck between the United States and the Philippines. And it's making headlines. Here's what's in it. The Philippines will now pay a 19% tariff on goods it exports to the US. In return, US goods will face 0 tariffs in the Philippines. Trump made the announcement just after meeting Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the White House. He said the Philippines is going open market with the US. The new 19% rate is slightly below the 20% that Trump threatened earlier this month, and just above the 17% set in April. The Philippines president called the deal a significant achievement, even though it's just a 1% cut from the earlier offer.
We managed to bring down the 20% tariff rate for the Philippines to 19%. Now, 1% might seem like a very small concession. However, when you put it in real terms, it is a significant achievement.
Marcos is the first Southeast Asian leader to meet Trump in his second term, and he made it clear before the start of the meeting, the US is his country's strongest, most reliable ally.
Strongest, closest, most reliable ally has always been the United States. That is something that we value, that we are grateful for, and that we will continue to foster as we go on. With the leadership of President Trump, I am very confident that we will be able to achieve that.
Trump says this isn't just about trade, it's also about military cooperation. He didn't give details, but mentioned great drills between both countries in recent weeks. For Washington, Manila is a key player in the Indo-Pacific, especially as Trump eyes China. He said the Philippines was maybe tilting toward China, but he untilted it very quickly. The US president also said he could visit China soon.
President Xi has invited me to China, and we'll probably be doing that in the not too distant future. A little bit out, but not too distant.
Trump has sought to lower tensions with Beijing in recent weeks after pausing a tit-for-tat tariff war that upended global trade and supply chains. The numbers matter too. Last year, the US ran a $5 billion trade deficit with the Philippines. Total bilateral trade stood at $23.5 billion. That deficit is likely to shrink now, The US remains a vital export destination for the Philippines, accounting for nearly 16% of Manila's total exports in the first 5 months of 2025. These include semiconductors and electronic products. To offset the trade imbalance, Marcos said the Philippines would increase imports from the US.
There were certain markets they were asked to be open that were presently in this right now are not open. The major areas that he said were automobiles, because we have a tariff on American automobiles. We will open that market and no longer charge tariffs on that. So there's several. But also the other side of that is an increased importation from the United States for soy products, wheat products, and pharma.
Inside the Oval Office, it was business as usual. But outside, protesters gathered as Marcos arrived. They wanted him to speak up for Filipino-American workers, for immigrants caught in US raids. The deal may boost US exports. It may pull Manila closer to Washington. It may even shift the balance in the Indo-Pacific. But what remains to be seen is if the Philippines struck a smart deal for its future, or did it open its markets too wide? And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight.